insights that help us.
Lonnie and friends, we're vibing strong, bringing truth to the game where we all belong. Soul's Dog discussions, hear the passions ignite. In the world of sports, we're ready to.
Hello, and welcome to Lonnie and Friends. I'm here with my partner in crime here, Tony Robinson. He's out in Texas. Of course, I'm out in crazy hot Arizona. So, Tony, it's been a while since we actually. So, how's everything going? It's been a while since we actually got on here, and so with after the Super Bowl, everybody kind of go to their own corners and deal with their life things, and then we kind of just get back. We've been talking over the weeks here, and we've kind of been itching to get back on to talk about some things. But this week is a good time because it's the NFL draft, right? It's kind of like the beginning of our season, and we already had free agency last month. So, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. Just scratching and surviving good times, right? Just working, getting my kids, coaching my kids' baseball team. That's fun seeing the maturation of them. 6-year-olds, 4 to 6-year-olds just get better and stuff like that. Never really thought that I would like to coach that age, but it's fun, even though they're very all over the place sometimes, but I enjoy it. And my son, my 10-year-old, he made the state championships for breaststroke and freestyle. So I'm excited for the grind for him and stuff like that. So just loving life, man, and just enjoying fatherhood. So.
Yeah, you got a fun age. You got kids that are, the age of your kids. You got one on the top end of, getting up there near the teen years, and you got one that's still, around the 5 and 6 year range. But I mean, I'm hearing your 6-year-old, he's doing switch hitting. You teach him how to switch hit. I mean, what's up with that?
Well, I told him while he's learning how to hit, he might as well learn both sides. Like that's the way. That's the best. For me, I wish I had that growing up. The best coaching, I think, is like training him to do everything, not just one side here. I'm thinking he's going to be like 6'7", like me, power hitter, hitting from both sides. I mean, I don't know if that's many people that do that, in the MLB. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm having the foresight to think that way to set him up for his future. So.
Yeah, it's that's where all the money's at in baseball. There's guaranteed contracts. We talking football and it's fun and everything there, but football's contracts are getting up there too, but they're not guaranteed like baseball. I mean, you're seeing these really good players, signing for $300, $400, $500 million, especially if you're really exceptional. So that's a fun time. Yeah, nothing going on over here, man. Obviously, wifey, she's a nurse now and she's doing her thing, and me, I just kind of been sitting back in the cut, just seeing what's the next move for what I want to do. Teenage daughter got a car recently. So, that's always fun. And it's always fun to figure out, hey, when are you going to let them actually drive, on their own? But, I have a lot of parameters set in place because, I still want those grades to be on point. And of course, she has a job too, and I want those. But first and foremost, everything comes around grades. We talk about it all the time. No matter how old your kids are, and you want them to earn it, right? You got to have good grades in school. Got to do all the things you need to be doing, and then you can get all of those different things that your parents. Because you got a car, but you still have to do the things to earn to drive that car, right? Yeah. Because it's out here. It's dangerous out here the way people are driving. You got to be able to make sure that your teen is ready. Mine has definitely been ready to drive now for a while. I've been in the car with her for over a year now. She can drive by herself. But you know what? I want to see a little bit more. Get not driving, but just make sure that you keep your grades on point and keep all those things going. And that way, you can earn the right to be able to have those good things that your parents are doing for you.
Definitely.
So it's all good. Hey, let's get started, man. Oh, I just saw that just came across the wire that some things that I'm not quite sure if we fully talked about, Tony, before. It's Mike Vrabel. He just did a press conference talking about his situation with Diana Rossini. I'm not sure if you've been following that, but he just released a statement because he was in Sedona, Arizona, which is not too far here, maybe an hour and a half or so up north from me. Everybody's seen it. It was on Page 6 and everywhere. They reported that they saw all these photos that they took, and it would look like more than just a professional relationship. And so Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots, he had to come out and confront those questions, because Rossini has been going through a lot, and they both are married, right? And so Rossini had to go through a situation where she had to go with the Atlantic. They wanted more information about, her relationship, with Mike Vrabel and everything, and she really couldn't produce it. So she resigned, and then of course Mike Vrabel said, "Hey, I'm not gonna talk about this until I talk to my teammates, my team, my family, and everything." And so he just came out, put a statement out and everything, saying that it was a he talked to the team about his situation. He talked to his family, and all of them are supporting. And he said he had to do better. He said he don't want to bring any kind of scrutiny on, his players and everything. I'm just paraphrasing here, and kind of went through the whole routine of, it was a statement that of course somebody wrote for him, and, and all this stuff like that. But I think that it was really weird to see that happen. And for him not to put out a statement until now was kind of crazy too. But definitely, I think that there was some there possibly. But I'm not quite sure if it's a total private matter. When you're leading men and you know what I'm saying, Tony. If you're leading men and stuff like that, you got to be accountable for your actions too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I always play the devil's advocate. Well, did they see that they actually did something, or just them at a bar? Like, people go to the bar all the time. Were they holding hands? Were they close?
Yeah, they were holding hands. Yeah, they were out there.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Okay. But they were. It was a big deal. They were holding. they were out on the terrace, and she was in the bathing suit, and he was in the swim trunks, and they were sitting at the pool together. And then they were literally holding hands like this and looking in each other's eyes on the terrace.
I didn't see all that.
It was heavy, brother. It wasn't. Look, I wouldn't even bring it up if it was. No, they're there, but there was something there, and they're both are married, and so And he said, "Oh, we were there with a bunch of friends and blah blah blah." I says, "No, these photos are not AI. They're real." And he had when you're leading men, young men, and you want them to do things in their private life, and you're leading a championship organization, one of the winningest organization in the NFL, and you took them to the Super Bowl last year. So you have a little bit of explaining to do about it, right? You gotta talk to your team, see how they feel about it, because you're holding everybody else accountable on your team when they are out there doing things in their private life. So as a coach, you have to come out and say, "Hey, man, I think I was wrong. It was a private matter." He didn't take any questions after it either. So he didn't want to bring up anything extra, but yeah, man, it wasn't really a good look for him and the organization to see that happen, especially she being a reporter, and everybody's kind of saying, "Well, this is how she's been kind of getting these exclusives, dating back for a while with players." And then of course that's not really fair for all the other reporters trying to do things the right way, especially if you're another female.
But did she actually do that? I mean, this is just one situation, but like, they trying to say she's done this before, but it's like, how do they know that? They don't know how she got her stuff. It's speculation, because this comes out as all speculation now.
There's people talking about it. Okay, there's people talking about it. They got her, she resigned from the Atlantic a couple of weeks ago. And so there's a little blowback on it. It's not like it.
I just want to. For me, I have to gather all. Even though I'm new to this topic, I have to have all the facts before I just take one side.
I get it. I'm saying whatever he did, it was enough to cause a stir, and hopefully they can move on from it. And it's you don't want this to overshadow what the Patriots are trying to do this year. And one of the other biggest things too that come up with the Patriots, and now we're talking about it, we're hearing a lot. I think Adam Schefter put something out yesterday that they're the front runners to get AJ Brown. After the draft, June 1st, that they're the front runners to get AJ Brown. I saw that, and now that could be a game changer too. I mean, if they get AJ Brown, if I was Buffalo, I think I would be throwing some other bait out there to the Philadelphia Eagles just to try to prevent or drive his price up. No,
I wouldn't. If I was AJ Brown, I would not want to go to Buffalo. Sorry, Buffalo fans, I love you, but with the quarterback play, we said this during the season, like
Josh Allen. You don't think that
Josh Allen hero ball will make, because it will mess up the receiver. It's always, I would never pick another fantasy player, another wide receiver in fantasy, because of the quarterback play and how he robs players from like getting their points and stuff, because he runs the ball way too fast. I don't know. We talked about this during the season. Like I have my thing about Josh Allen. Josh Allen is an MVP caliber quarterback. He's great. He does everything. But when it comes to receivers thriving in that system, it doesn't happen all the time, because it's like, but they want to blame the receivers there when it's the quarterback play. He gets into his mind that he has to do everything by himself, and that's why the receivers aren't playing as well, because they could be open, but he runs too much. To me, that's just my opinion.
I don't know. Well, I don't care where he goes as long as he's out of the NFC East, and my team, the Commanders, don't have to deal with him.
To the Browns.
And the Browns.
I've been saying the Browns for a while.
The Browns could be a place too. Now he might not want to go there, and might not like it, but the Browns could be in the mix too to grab him. Yeah. Kind of like under the radar, last minute. It depends on what happens in a couple of days with the draft. The Browns could be a team that might sneak in there and say, "Hey, we low key want them, but let's go in the back door. We don't want to make it known yet, but they could go in and be sneaking in the back door, trying to just rip them away from the potential Patriots. So we'll see there. So we're NFL draft, man. We're trying to get here, and so we've got. Of course, we've got the Vegas Raiders picking number 1 overall, and of course, they're going to pick Mendoza. And in this kind of foregone conclusion, Fernando Mendoza is probably going to get picked. After that, I think everything kind of just falls anywhere. You got Arvell Reese from Ohio State at linebacker, versatile linebacker with a high-end potential. You have, David Bailey from Texas Tech, a dominant edge rusher. Everybody's really, really high on. They don't think that he'll get past, the top 3 or 4. You got a couple of offensive tackles in there, that the Cleveland Browns could be looking at because they need help in that position. Caleb Downs, a safety, he's widely considered an elite complete safety. Sonny Styles. Ohio State is just putting out players. I would expect them to have within the first 10 picks. I think they're going to have at least 4 or 5 players drafted from the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? And then we've got, of course, Sonny Styles. I think is a really good player. His combine and pro day numbers are off the charts, right? And so then you got Carnell Tate. Skilled playmaker, good route runner. People kind of doubted what he was going to be doing, as far as his speed, and so I think that's a big concern for some people. But you just put the tape on, man, and Tate can just flat out play. And so, what do you? It's going to be interesting. Jeremiah Love. A lot of people say he is the best player as far as talent wise, probably the 1 and 2 in the whole draft. What do you think about a team taking a running back in the top 5? Top 5. Obviously, this guy has to be elite, right? Is he a Saquon Barkley? Kind of comes to mind what Saquon Barkley and stuff like that. What do you really think that taking a running back this high? Got any thoughts on that?
I believe that if the talent is there and the team, it's a team need, and he's the best, you're saying he's the best in the draft, like you have to go with him. You have to go with him. I'm looking at the Arizona Cardinals right now. Even though they just signed, kept the guys they had there, they need to add somebody like this kid. And maybe get rid of Benson, because I think the Browns been talking about there's some speculation that the Browns may try to get some more running back help with Benson and everything like that. But the Cardinals sitting right there at 3. Jeremiah, like you can't. I mean, I know they need a quarterback, but what other quarterbacks out there that's really good right now?
Well, they're not gonna get a quarterback this high in number 3 because there's nobody out there that they believe that's worthy. I mean, but Jeremiah Love, at the end of the day, this is a entertainment business, right?
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray, he was the entertainment because he was a quarterback. Now he's gone. I mean, who are you going to bring in to really make a big time impact to play literally 15 minutes right down the road from where I am now? I mean, State Farm Stadium is 15 minutes down the road, and you got to get cheeks in the seats. You got to sell those season tickets, right? So who out here in this draft is a big pull to sell season tickets? They got Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. They got pretty high in the draft a couple of years ago. He's had some injuries and things like that in Arizona. So now you add you add a Jeremiah Love to that mix, and now people will come in to see big plays from Jeremiah Love.
Adding a dynamic player in Jeremiah Love, any quarterback that comes in there is set up for success. They just got to work on their offensive line. As long as the offensive line is taken care of, they have the receivers. It may not be the greatest. They have receiver help. They just need a quarterback that can get them the ball. And because they have the running game. The running game is going to be solidified if they get Love at the number 3 spot. Just my opinion. I mean, who am I?
Well, they've got Jacoby Brissett. He's holding out now for a little bit more money. I think they have to give him more money than $8 million. I think he's deserved the contract from last year, the way he played for the Cardinals, right? They've got, Gardner Minshew and, some other dude that I don't even know. And so Jacoby Brissett, I think he's earned the right to have a little bit more money. I mean, the way these quarterbacks are being paid now, I mean, to get him at $8 million and think that, he started probably, I want to say he started at least 12 games last year, right?
Yeah.
10, 11 games. Got to give him more than $8 million.
Yeah, he's a solid quarterback. He's a veteran now. It's like, he can win you games. He's smart. He's smart between the ears. Like, he's a veteran quarterback. Just let him roll with it, and just
give him a running back like Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, rebuild that team over there.
Tight end. You got the tight end too.
Yep. Got a good tight end. I think that might be a good fit. Hopefully, Jeremiah Love don't go to the Cardinals because I want him to fall down to 7. By the way,
the Browns wanted to fall down too, but then me and you are in a weird situation where it's it's either running back or running back. So running back or receiver. So,
and we don't know what the Tennessee Titans are going to do either. I mean, they got a good young quarterback, getting a Jeremiah Love there.
That's why I say Arizona should get him first. Then,
Tennessee, and and the other thing is that we had a big. I'm kind of pissed. I'm just going to air it out right now. I'm kind of mad. Okay, so a few days ago, the Cincinnati Bengals had a nerve to trade the number 10 pick to the Giants for Dexter Lawrence. All right, Dexter Lawrence has been pissed off the last couple of years because he's wanted a contract extension, and I understand that he should be probably paid more money. I think he's the 12th. He was 12th, on the pay scale of the people in his position. So he's been trying to get a new deal now for the last couple of years, and then he finally said, "Yo, screw this. You guys got a new guy, Harbaugh, coming in here. I'm about 28 years old. I want to make more money." Because I think I deserve it. Now, he's been hurt. He hurt the year before. Didn't have a good year this last season necessarily, right? But boy, he's a big piece in the middle of that defense. And then all of a sudden, the Cincinnati Bengals decided, you know what? We're going to give up away the number 10 pick to the New York Giants for a 28, 29-year-old guy. Give him a $28 million 1-year extension. Okay, and all these crazy studs on defense that you can get within the top 10, younger player, 5th-year option, and all these studs on defense that you can get. They go out and give Giants 2 top 10 picks. Now the Giants pick number 5, and now they pick number 10. And so the Giants have a lot of options now that they got rid of Dexter Lawrence. And then you got the Cincinnati Bengals sitting up there. And I think that the GM should be fired. Totally fired for making this move right here. It's absolutely ridiculous that they made this move. And so now you have the AFC North teams that all got new coaches. And I think I told you this here in our pre-show that the Bengals think that they have a really good opportunity to take the AFC North because of all the new coaches. They want to give Joe Burrow a defense so he doesn't have to score 30 points a game and still lose. And so this is a big swing for the Bengals.
Yeah, I think I do think that they may have a good opportunity for it because of longevity, but I don't think that's in our division. That doesn't hold weight, in my opinion. Like we talked about earlier, I just feel like just like the Seattle Seahawks, the coach was there 1 year, second year he won a Super Bowl. So it does. I mean, he played good in his first year too. They had a good record in the first year, I believe. But I feel like the teams that are good. Like the Ravens are still going to be up there. They can't bypass the Ravens. They're going to always be the
even with Jesse Minter as their head coach. I mean, over in Baltimore, they get rid of a guy that was there for 17, 18 years.
Yeah, they still got the players, and they have the pedigree still there, even though the coach is gone. I mean, I feel like the players are still there. They're gonna try to hold on to that mindset of like just dominant defense and running the ball on offense, and they're gonna find new ways to get Lamar Jackson going and stuff like that, I'm sure. But our division is just it's unpredictable. You don't know what's gonna happen because it's one of the hardest divisions to play in, like every year, because I'm a Browns fan. It's just so hard to like play against any team in our division. So I see the Bengals still at the bottom, as long as, but if the quarterback can stay healthy, they have a chance every year. But if he keeps getting hurt, I don't think they have a chance.
Well, the problem is that their September stink. It's like they don't wake up until October, and by that time, they're chasing, playoff teams at that point. And so, last year was a little bit different. They had a better September, but it's like, dude, you got to wake up. Your team needs to be ready to play in September. And if you do, you have a better chance to, and if Joe Burrow stays healthy, they always have a chance.
Well, that's around the times they get hurt, though. They come back from like this, long off, and then they go into the training camp. They have injuries going into training camp, into the preseason. And then somebody usually gets hurt in the first 4 games. And that's been the issue with them the last couple of years. They get injured so fast. Somebody's always hurt. Like Joe Burrow's been hurt, and then by the time they get to like the end of the season, they're already done, because Joe Burrow's injuries are like long time off. So usually. So
yeah, so I hope the Bengals get their head beat in this year for making this deal, because now the Commanders now have to deal with possibly two studs that the Giants can get, whether it's on offense or defense. If they get 2 defensive players, the New York Giants, they're going to be 2 studs that we got to deal with for the next decade, okay, in the NFC East. And if they get, have to get Jeremiah Love, we got Saquon Barkley right down the road now in Philly. So we've had to deal with him his whole 7-year career or 8-year career. Now we got a potential Jeremiah Love that we're going to have to deal with on offense. But if they let Jeremiah Love slip down to number 6 or 7, okay, to the Cleveland Browns or the Washington Commanders, and which brings us to this whole dynamic, because of course me and you I'm a Commanders fan, you're a Browns fan, and the Browns pick number 6 and we pick number 7. Now we both are assured on getting a really good talent. Now, it all depends if you guys go offensive line. If Cleveland goes offensive line, I'm going to love it, because we're going to have the pick of the litter at wide receiver. We're going to have the pick of the litter at, maybe Styles is there for the Commanders. Your defense, don't need really a whole lot of help. But you guys have a couple of issues. You had a quarterback issue, and you also have who are you going to have to help the Cleveland Browns? Let's talk about the quarterback thing first, because it's been a while and a lot of things have happened over the last few months. And so we've talked about the quarterback position, and I told you that, the quarterback position is going to be interesting. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about what you think how the quarterback position is going to unwind there in Cleveland.
How I want it to unwind is that they just solidify who they want as the quarterback one, and I feel like they're doing that. There's a lot of speculation out there, and like people, I feel like it's a lot of like people just coming in just wanting to like have an opinion, or they just hating and just like trying to stir the pot and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be Shedeur Sanders, QB1. But it's his position to lose, because it's going to be a competition, even though they can name a quarterback one, no matter who it is. They can name it. They can name, Watson the quarterback one, or Gabriel QB1. We know it's not going to be Gabriel, but they can name anybody. It's Shedeur Sanders' job to lose at this point, because the coach is sitting there from 2018 at Georgia, wanted to recruit this kid. Baltimore, he wanted him to. They wanted to draft him. Come to Cleveland, now he has him. He's gonna make it a healthy competition with Watson and Gabriel. I think Gabriel's gone soon, but I feel like Shedeur is going to be the guy. That's who I want to be the guy, only because we got a new team. We got to get past the Watson stuff. We keep going back to the Watson stuff, and he had all these years to prove himself, but he hasn't done it yet. Even though I like Watson, we talk about this all the time. He has an opportunity in a new system to do well, but I don't want him to like let us down again. And because we've been doing this for the last 3 to 4 years, and like hoping the best for him, but then nothing happens, nothing comes out of it. But that could have been the terrible offense that we ran under Stefanski too. But I feel right now I have Shedeur. That's just
I have Watson. I mean, I have Watson, and I think I still think that there's some people in that made this. I think it's the worst deal in NFL history that was made. Okay, in modern day history, $250 million guaranteed, all these draft picks, and you've only paid, I don't know, 18, 19 games or whatever for you guys in 3-4 years. So I think it's the worst deal. Okay, $60 million a year, all this stuff going on. He's been injured, didn't even play last season. So all of this stuff that I think there's still a faction of people that made this deal that just don't want to be wrong, right? And I don't know if they're pulling either the owner or somebody up top are going to be pulling Monken strings to make sure that Watson gets back on the field somehow. So they know definitely when his contract is over and they decide to release him, however it pans out, that they know for sure that he's had the full chances when he's 100% healthy, and that, because let's just say that Watson gets the starting job, he balls out. Then what position that the Browns going to be in next year? Are they going to say, you know what, Watson, we're going to give you another $40 million? How about that? We didn't give you $250, we did take $40. And then now you still have, I mean, remember, he's still a young player. I mean, he's not even 30 years old yet, maybe 30, not quite 30.
27, 28.
Yeah. So just think about that. And that dynamic, and I think Watson and Monken's system could really, really do well. And I think Watson's going to win that job, by the way.
Yeah, I do think we talked about this before. I do see a space where Watson is the quarterback again, but because the thing about it is he's making so much money. If I was the coach or anybody in the organization, I wouldn't want him to just be sitting as a backup making $40 million a year, $50 million, whatever it is. I don't want to see money just sitting on the sideline wasting. So I'm gonna give him an opportunity to beat out the other guy or whatever. But it is the worst contract in history in hindsight, because when you look at it at the time, it wasn't a bad look, because we were trying to find a quarterback that we've never had, right? And with all the stuff that, with this off the field stuff and stuff like that, we didn't know it was going to transpire. It wasn't going to turn out the way it did with all these injuries. So to me, it's not really it wasn't a bad at the time. It wasn't the bad. It wasn't.
It was bad. I told you it was bad.
It was bad because of the money, but we never had a quarterback like him. We've never had Bernie Kosar wasn't even like him. So we had to work towards getting a better quarterback to have a better offense, but it just handcuffed us. I mean, we couldn't do nothing else with it, so that the injuries and all that stuff playing a factor. Now it's the worst contract in my opinion, but But
you're kind of through the fire now with him. I mean, and so now you don't really have a lot of exposure if you get rid of him after this year, and so you're kind of through the storm now. But your defense was still really, really good over the last couple of years, and I would just think, why don't the Browns just try to reverse engineer this trade and get rid of one of your best defensive players and get a bunch of picks? Right? Like, why, can we get a lot of picks for your best defensive player?
That's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. I mean, that's another speculation out there. I mean, on the groups that the Cleveland Browns groups that I'm on, that people like put all these different speculations out about getting rid of Garrett to get all these picks and like stuff like that. But I mean, it doesn't sound bad, but we want Garrett to be a Brown until he retires and goes to the Hall of Fame. He wants to be. I mean, he wants to be there, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. But I feel like we're a dominant defense because of him. So we just got to get the offense to get going. If the offense gets going, it's lights out.
We're taking
over the NFL.
So at number six, where would you like the Cleveland Browns? What would you like the Cleveland Browns to do at this pick at number 6? I mean, we know that they need help on the offensive line, right? Y'all don't want nobody. Y'all want a playmaker, a flashy player, somebody that can make plays down the field. You guys want an offensive weapon, right? Maybe a Cornell Tate. And even if you got Jeremiah Love sitting there at 6, I think it would make sense for you guys even to take the best player available on offense. And Mekhi Lemon, I don't think you guys want him. He's a little smaller, but he can make plays. And I don't know. What do you believe what the Cleveland Browns should do at number 6?
I feel like in the first round we should double tap the wide receiver spot. That's just me because I'm an offensive guy. Like, I love to see a dynamic offense, and I don't feel like the last few years, we went tackle or O lineman in the first round, and it didn't pan out. We had so many injuries at the O line spot, so that's why we're in the situation we're in right now. Like, the quarterback, getting hit, the running back facing 45% pressure past our offensive line. So that means the defense is getting into the backfield so quickly. So I know I would rather our defense, I'd rather our offensive line have to work for it and not get that first round pick. I would rather go double tap the wide receiver spot. You get Cornell Tate and whoever's available at the second wide, at the 24th spot for wide receiver, and then get your offensive tackles after that, because make them work for that money. Because I feel like I know it's not fair to them that's coming out now, but it's like for the last 5 years, we haven't done well at the tackle spot or offensive line spot. I want to get pieces that are going to make us better at, in the core, like our passing game and stuff like that. Because we got the running back, we probably need another running back too to solidify the backfield too because of the injuries.
So would you be mad at Jeremiah Love?
Oh no, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad there. We wouldn't get Tate because I'm only thinking about the wide receiver U right here behind me. The wide receiver over here is producing the history. The recent history has shown over the last 10 years, Ohio State wide receivers have been doing well in the NFL. When they go to the NFL, they do very well. So no other team has done that besides LSU, but LSU is not putting out as much as we putting out. And we got more coming. So those Buckeyes over there,
Yeah, I mean, Tate is. I guess Tate is probably the guy that's probably the most durable out of the wide receivers. He's tall. Long wide out. His speed is 4.5 wasn't really that good at the combine, but his production is really, really well, and he can defeat press coverage. He has a long stride. He attacks the ball, and he can do some damage there, but you pick a guy up like number 6, you want him to come in right away and make a big time impact. And I think that if you give Watson Carnell Tate and you pair him with Bond and Jerry Jeudy, I know you guys lost the tight end there in Juku, right? And so yeah. So I think that you guys have a little bit of a little thing going there, right? I think with you guys have a little bit thing going there.
Yeah, with Tate, it's all about game speed. Like everybody talks about 40 times and stuff like that. He gets separation. He has route running. Jerry Rice wasn't a burner either, and look what he did. I'm not comparing him to Jerry Rice. I know he's not Jerry Rice, so don't come at me in the comment section. I know y'all think like that, but I just feel like he gets separation and he can go get that ball. He can jump ball that thing too.
Yeah, somebody asked how far would you guys trade down, because it seems like the Cowboys want to trade up to get Ruben Bain. Would you trade out of the number 6 spot if you're the Cleveland Browns?
They have to give us a lot more. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we would trade. Like, I don't know. What would they give us? I mean,
well, they've got 12 and they've got like a 20 something.
Yeah, I think they talk about giving us a 12, but they wanted to give us that for like Garrett too. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we need to solidify our offense. That's why we have to get a wide receiver, because Tate's not going to be there later on. So he's going in the top 10. So I don't want to lose that spot, because for me, if I was a GM, I'm not anybody, but I feel like getting a wide receiver to solidify, because we had the most drops last year in our wide receiver core. So why would you not want to get a wide receiver that catches almost everything?
Yeah.
And coming from the
good
best
route runner, he's a good player.
He does everything. So it's like you can't pass up on that kind of talent and try to put all these other people behind, around him, like saying everybody else is better, like saying Lemon or whoever else is better because they got the best wide receiver in college, award or whatever. That's because Tate.
Well, if you have a lot of good defensive players left there, are you just bypassing all the defensive players at this point and just looking straight at wide receiver? I mean, I don't think you guys could. I mean, if a Ruben Bain is there, right, from Miami, or Arvell, I don't think Arvell Reese is going to be there, but David Bailey, another Ed, Sonny Styles could be there.
At 12?
Huh?
You talking about at 12?
At 6.
Oh,
at 6, are you saying forget about everybody else? Our guys should be Tate, no matter who's sitting there, unless it's Love. That are you totally opposed of the Browns going defense, because one of these defensive players might be available at 6?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, because that's the old Belichick way. Get your defensive players in the first round and deal from there. I get it. I like that model, but when you can't pass up on talented. We haven't done well drafting wide receiver talent in the later rounds, or even in the first round. I mean, we had Braylon Edwards back in the day, but our 2016 first pick was terrible. So, but it's like when you have to get a talent like this like right away, or he's gonna make you pay when he comes back to play against you in the future. He's one of those guys. I feel like he's the guy. If we don't get him, he's gonna tear it up with somebody else. I mean,
yeah, but one of these defensive players is gonna make you guys even better. All right, it's going to make you guys even better, and even if you're talking about, everybody's talking about, Caleb Downs.
I told you about Caleb Downs.
You would take Caleb Downs on the Cleveland Browns?
I wouldn't take him at 6, because our biggest need is offense. We need O-tackle. We need wide receiver. So that's the need in the first couple of rounds to me, but.
So you're going to be, but you would still probably be mad if they go, Spencer Fano at number 6, because he's not somebody that is going to put points on the board.
I like all the offensive tackles. They play a big role on the offense, obviously, and they're always overlooked and stuff like that. But for us to not have a solidified wide receiver 1, that's the issue I have.
Yeah,
we haven't had. That's what I've been saying that through the whole season. We need a big time wide receiver 1, a big body, not these like small, like lean, gadgety people. I almost said a different word, but trying to be PG over here. But I'm a 46-year Browns fan, so I've been through the mud So
well,
we
I
need
know.
to get this thing going.
I mean, I know. I mean, I know what the mud looks like, brother. Trust me. I did have some good years. I remember when we were in the Super Bowls and as the Redskins. It's been a long time. I mean, I don't think we've won the Super Bowl with 91. I mean, back then I was like 19. So I mean, I'm 50 plus now. So it's like, come on.
Hey, I'm 46 and we ain't had none in my time.
It's been pretty bad.
In the old school, we had like, with Otto Graham and all those guys, we had some championships in the other league we were in, but that's about it.
Yeah, so we'll see. And I'm going to be sitting there, and as soon as the Browns take their pick, man, and we're going to be on the clock, we going to be on the clock. What are the Commanders going to do at number 7? Okay, great. We have a lot of picks, and to be honest with you, we have a lot of choices here, and whoever, leave. There's one of these guys I think that's at the top that's going to fall to us at 7, and it could be Tate. It could be Tate. Tate could be one of those guys that fall to us. Cleveland Browns might say, "Hey, we need to protect our quarterback." They might go Fano, and then if they go Fano and leave Tate sitting out there, we're gonna go Tate. If a Sony Styles or a Arvell Reese or any of these guys fall down the ladder there and leave us there, we can take one of those defensive guys. But I really think that what the Commanders should do with this spot, number 7. As I think that if Jeremiah Love or a Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese is not there, and if a Tate is not there, I think that you should be looking to move back. Right at that point, you should be looking to move back a few more spots, get to a second-round pick, which we don't have this year. As a matter of fact, we got the fewest draft picks, I think, of any team in the NFL this year, and so I think that's what the Commanders should be looking to do. If you can't get a Sonny Styles or a Carnell Tate or Jeremiah Love, I think as the Commanders, you got to be willing to like move back. And I don't think that the Commanders can afford to miss because they don't have a lot of draft picks, so they can't really afford to miss. And when you start looking at the wide receiver position, there's a lot of people say Tate is great, but he doesn't have the speed. A lot of people are saying all this and all that. And I'm saying to myself, man, just get to a player that can help Jayden Daniels. And if that's at running back, oh, man, Jeremiah Love will look really good, in the backfield with Jayden Daniels. And, that would be awesome. A Tate, right now, Terry McLaurin, he's long in the tooth. He was injured last season after he got his money. After this season, then, I think he's going to be $38 million next year if he doesn't restructure his deal. And so you don't have a true number 1 or a true number 2 receiver after Terry McLaurin. If he gets hurt, as we saw last year, the team struggled because you had no one to stretch the field. Now, they did go out there in free agency and get Dyami Brown back. He left, went to Jacksonville, didn't work out there. Now he's back. He's a deep threat guy, but he is not that number 1 receiver. But if you can get a Tate or even a Mekhi Lemon, it's kind of a stretch to try to get Mekhi Lemon at number 7. I don't think he's worth a number 7 pick. But if you move back a couple of spots, get you a second-round pick, and get a Mekhi Lemon or somebody that can stretch the field, a real dynamic player, then I think you're okay. So that's what I think what the Commanders should do. Jordan Tyson, from Arizona State, people said that he has the biggest upside of any wide receiver. My only problem with that is that he's only played 17 games out of 4 years of playing football. And so I think that's just not enough. His injury concerns outweigh his potential to be a really great player. And a lot of people said that if you're injured in college, the NFL is that much tougher. And so I don't think you can bring that guy on with so much riding on the line. You got to count on him playing. Can he play 18 games? Can he play, 20 games into the playoffs? I'm not quite sure if he's only played 17 games over the last 4 years. And so I think with the Commanders, I think what we should do is move back. If we can't get a Tate, Love, or a Sonny Styles on defense, I think we got to move back. I would love to get the Sonny Styles though, because I just think that we're too slow on defense. We got a lot of good pieces though in free agency, but we're kind of too slow. We need to get younger, faster. So I'd be happy with one of those Ohio State defensive players.
So you're saying that your number 1 need would be wide receiver and running back, or or anybody the best available?
Best available. I think the best available, and that would be either one of the Ohio State studs at defense, or Tate, as a wide receiver, or if Jeremiah Love's there, I think you got to take him because he would be the best player available. They're already saying that Love is the best player in the draft. So if Love is the best player in the draft as a running back, even over Mendoza, then it really comes down to, of course, we know the Raiders don't need a running back. They drafted one high last year, and then Mendoza is the top quarterback, so they need a quarterback. They're going to draft him. But if Jeremiah Love slipped past the Giants, and he slips past the Browns, and he slips past all these teams that say that it's too high of a value to pick a running back in the top 3 or 4, then he slips down to 7. I'm taking Jeremiah Love.
If Caleb Downs is the only one there, would you take Caleb Downs? That's another Buckeye. I know he's going to be
Caleb Downs. He's a safety, and so when I look at a safety position, I think that's kind of too high to pick a safety necessarily. He's
a game changer though.
He's a game changer. I'm looking at position value. Safeties are cheap out there. And am I getting a guy that is an Ed Reed? I don't know. I mean, if he's a Hall of Famer like Ed Reed, somebody's going to be a perennial 10-decade player, then you can get value there. We got a safety already with the Colts. We got the safety. We rebuilt our back end on the safety level. The only other person I think that we could probably get is a cornerback. A cornerback that we could probably get that would make sense for us if we're getting a defensive player on the back thing, like a Mansour Lane. Lane he's the most consistent player in the draft class. I mean, he only had 13 passes, gave up 13 passes against catches, for LSU. He's a former Hokie down at Virginia Tech. And so I think when you're looking at that, if we're looking to get a player for the back end, I think we have to get a cover guy. I think we got to get a lockdown corner on the edge to go with Amos, our guy that we got last year from Mississippi, who played very well until he got injured. But if we can get a lockdown corner, I don't think we go after Caleb Downs because, you can move him around and everything there. But I think that we need that help there, obviously to cover wide receivers. I don't think we get a Caleb Downs at number 7.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a game changer, though. Whatever team he goes to, he's going to be solid.
Yeah, and so I think, it's going to be exciting looking at the draft this year. I'm excited. It's bad when when you're picking in the top 10, your team was bad. And we had to take a lot of Pepto-Bismol this year watching both of our teams. And so, when you did, it was pretty bad. We had to take a lot of Pepto-Bismol watching both of our teams this year. And so I'm excited the next 2 days. We're going to see who our teams are going to look for the future with, whether it's going to be a lot of good defensive players, man. Those Ohio State guys, man, 4-5 guys that go in the top 10. I'm excited for it. But let's flip the page for a minute. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. I saw, the Lakers beat up on the Houston Rockets without KD. And, everybody's like, with LeBron James, 41, 42 years old, he's still doing it out there. He's the GOAT now because he beat the Rockets in one playoff game and all this stuff. I think you posted something today. I forget what it was. I kind of was speeding through a couple of things. So you add a question about, LeBron James, is he GOAT now because he did this and he did that? Well, he is the GOAT of longevity. He's the GOAT of longevity. Okay. And what I would say to that is that Tom Brady is the GOAT. Not only, remember, Tom Brady was playing at 45 years old. He was playing a tougher game than LeBron James at 45 years, different sport, right? But the difference is Tom Brady got how many rings? 7. He got 7 rings, right? Tom Brady got 7 rings, and he played till he was 45 years old. So there's no dispute about who's the GOAT. He's got longevity, he's got the rings, and we know that he's the GOAT. Okay. LeBron James, it's very impressive what he's done. I thought it was a great moment when Bronny James came into that Houston game, and you saw father and son, playing together in the playoff game, and his wife was there, his family was there, his grandmother was there, and you got to see the generation. Now, this is not the passing of the torch for LeBron James, giving it to Bronny. Okay, because Bronny only came in spot time. He didn't play any significant minutes, and quite frankly, we know Bronny is not the type of player that his father is, and I don't think he will be. Very impressive what LeBron James has done. Can they win this series when KD comes back? Can LeBron James and the Lakers without Luka win this series if KD comes back next game in the rest of the series?
Well, I don't for LeBron, like the longevity piece, I feel like there's a lot to say there. But I don't know if we have enough time for this live and stuff like this.
Whatever. I mean, whatever.
There's a lot to say about that.
I mean, we can go over it. Don't matter. I mean, whatever.
But to answer this question, I feel if KD's not there, the Lakers win because LeBron showed you what he's going to do to these young cats that's out here that don't have a good shooter in KD on the team. With KD on the team, that's going to be difficult without without Luka, without Reeves and everything. I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm optimistic, but I'm also a realist. You can see the team makeup, right? But this Houston team was really good without KD before KD went there. They were pretty solid. I just don't know what's going on with the dynamic, because I guess they're used to KD being there. Maybe they can't get back to that luster that they had before KD came. But they lack a point guard. There's a lot of things they're missing. But Udoka is a great coach, so I think the first game is always the feel-out game.
Well, he's a good coach, but I don't give him that. I'm not giving him that.
Okay, I won't say great. He's a good coach, but the first game is always the feel-out game, right? Usually in those feel-out games in history, LeBron kind of lost in those games, but then the next they kind of like figure out what to do next. But I feel like Houston's going to come back next game, knowing that it's only LeBron. They're going to try to find a way to take him away, and make everybody else beat him. That's what I think they're going to do. That's what I would do as a coach. I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm not. I already see what they can do to him. Just take him away and make everybody else beat him, because they don't have anybody else that has that dog in them like he does. But
yeah,
but also those kids on Houston, those young bucks. You got the old head coming out here. That's like, this is what I do at Lifetime. I go play against these young guys, and they think they this and that, but. I'll come in and show him a little bit, but this dude is doing it at a high level for so many years. Yeah, he has longevity and all this stuff, but he done it in less time. No matter what anybody says, he's done it in less time, less shot attempts, and a lot of things like that. So I'm gonna leave it there. But there's a lot to that.
We got a guy out there, man, that is people are still wearing his shoes. People are still wearing his logo. He's out there on the racetrack now. He's out there on the racetrack now, changing the whole game. Bringing African Americans into the racetrack. Okay, winning Daytona 500s and stuff like that. And then we got another thing going on. And so this is just another thing. I mean, he already owned the basketball team. Okay, he was an owner of an NBA team. Remember that?
Terrible.
Well,
like
maybe
he was terrible.
Maybe, but you know what? He did it. Right? He's still breaking glass ceilings.
Don't get me wrong. I love everything that Jordan's doing. He was just the first to the table, because he came before Jordan. He came before LeBron or whatever. So everything he's done is set the way for all these athletes now. We already know that. We're not talking about that part.
They chasing.
There's a lot of
the other athletes, even LeBron James, they're chasing Jordan's legacy. And
there's a lot of stuff that LeBron has done that Jordan hasn't even.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Jordan don't care.
You don't care.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Michael Jordan right now is sitting there thinking about LeBron James and LeBron? Do you think
that's why he had to sit down and talk about it.
Jordan is not thinking about LeBron James taking away his legacy.
Well, his legacy is already cemented, but he is thinking about him to get on have a sit down and talk about the GOAT debate, and saying that he don't believe in it now. So it's like he is thinking about him.
He's the GOAT, man. The GOAT don't want to talk about the GOAT.
Well, the GOAT has to be. I'm gonna show you you already know what your definition, and don't get me wrong. Jordan was my favorite player when I first started watching basketball. So, but for me, knowing the way I play the game, I have an all-around game. I can play 1 through 5. I can do everything, right? So he kind of mirrors what I used to do. So that's why I like LeBron, because LeBron does everything. If I picked a team, if I had a team that I had somebody to pick from, I would probably pick LeBron first because he does everything. If they were in the same age or like coming out of college, coming out of high school, whatever, I would pick LeBron over him, just based off of just the pure doing everything, and he can make players better. He just everything. He does everything. Look at the list. Like, he's on the rebound list, the assist list, the scoring list. He does everything, and he's not even. They don't even consider him a scorer. They don't even consider LeBron a scorer.
People love Kobe more than they love LeBron. People love Kobe
because they hate LeBron. More than they love Everybody hates LeBron. He hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't been any.
People like Kobe Bryant more than they love LeBron.
That's fine. I like Kobe too.
I like Kobe Bryant. I like Michael Jordan, and I like LeBron, because you know what? The brothers are breaking. They broke glass ceilings.
Yes.
And so I will never root against LeBron when it comes to just as a man, a man. But when you throw him up against Jordan, you're always gonna get pushback and resistance from me. But if you just leave him there as a singular figure, just leave him. Just don't compare him to Jordan. They're two different decades. They're two different players. They when you compare him to Jordan, you lose the argument with me all the time.
You can't compare. Well, you think I lost.
Well, you will.
You can't compare Jordan and LeBron either. They can't be compared.
I don't compare them. I don't compare them because Jordan is the GOAT. Because when you walk around and see everybody wearing his shoes, when you walk around, you see him on the
it has nothing to do with shoes. I'm talking about on the court. On the court.
It doesn't matter. Well, let me just say this. I can't wait to see what LeBron does when he retires, because now this continues on. What is he going to do when he retires finally? Okay, because he's not winning another championship. He's just getting the $50 million, from the Lakers. He ain't winning another championship. So
he already has off the court stuff legacy already. He's already created schools for kids and different things. He's already done things. So it's like he's already has so much off the court already. So it's
we want to see what he's gonna do when he finally retires, because that's your second career. Okay, your second career is when you retire. Okay, so we got to get to the Cavs. I don't want to take away the brief shine that you have for your Cavs. So the Cavs are up 2-0 on the Raptors. So what are you thinking about this? The Cavs team, now that they've got your boy with the beard.
What's his name?
Harden. Your guy with the beard.
I told you when the acquisition happened. I told you when the acquisition happened that he was not going to play. You looked at him as a ball hog, and I said he's a ball hog when he has to be, but when he plays on a team that he has help and he sees the pieces around him, he makes everybody better. He makes the whole team better. He does the lobs with the bigs. The bigs were already good, but he makes them. He gives them a tick better because they're excited because they know they're gonna get the ball. A lot of times when we had just Mitchell, there were times Mitchell just come down and shoot the three. He does lobs too, but there's times where Mitchell would always shoot the three and stuff like that, and it would kind of shoot us out of games. Just to be real, but when you have a dynamic where you have a Harden that a facilitator, can drive, can do everything. He's a big body that can,
Is this his last chance on trying to win a championship? Is this his last chance to win a championship, Harden? His last chance to win a championship.
This is his last chance. I think he's gonna. He might retire a Cavalier. Because I mean, depending on how this year goes, the rest of this year goes. I mean, if we had him at the beginning of the season, I feel like we would have been a higher seed. We got him later in the season. If we had him, we could probably have been like a 1 or 2 seed right now. Because the way we played since he's been on our team, he's made us so much better. And our shooters, he's making the shooters around him better too, because you can't double anybody. You can't double Mitchell anymore because you have another guy.
You know, I gotta say this. I mean, I know you're happy, but this is the Raptors. This is the Raptors. I mean, he hasn't played against the Knicks. He hasn't played against the Celtics.
I'm talking. Well, in the season they played against each other, and we did our thing.
Well, Jason Tatum missed. He just came back, a month ago. So now you got Jason Tatum. Do you believe that the Cavaliers is gonna play the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I have the Cavs coming out the East.
So you saying that they're gonna beat the Celtics with the healthy Jason Tatum?
Cavs out of the East. Cavs in 6.
Stop! Oh man, come on.
Cavs in 6.
Okay. I got you. You know what?
I have to go. I have to go with that because I bet on Cowshy about it, and no, I'm not getting paid by Cowshy. I'm not getting paid by Cowshy, but I have a bet that they're going to come out of the East. So
that's I don't know, man. Hopefully you ain't giving up. Hopefully if you lose, you're not giving up a lot.
It ain't
because I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening. I think it's going to be, to be honest with you, I really think it's going to be the Celtics and the Oklahoma
Cavs and Spurs.
That would upset everything. That would upset everything. But the way Oklahoma City is playing effortlessly out there, I think,
yeah, they're good. They're good.
I think it's Oklahoma City and the Celtics. I'm very disappointed in what I saw in Detroit the other night. All right, getting beat up by the Orlando Magic. That was horrible. And I think that the Cavs are a good team. I just don't know what they do in the next round, if they play the Knicks or whoever. Do they play? I don't know. I forget the seedings, but I'm not sure if they win the next round, they play the Knicks, or do they play the Celtics?
I forgot the seeding, but I know the reason for the Detroit loss, Cade is coming off that collapsed lung. He's on a minutes restriction, so he had to work back up. He's working back on his conditioning and stuff like that. So that's a major
it's about all the other players. He had a good game. He
turned it up in the third and fourth quarter, but he didn't start off well because he was kind of like feeling his way back. He's still feeling his way back. So that
I think they were flat. I think Orlando, when these teams come from the play-in, they're already playing playoff basketball. Win or go home, and then you've got these other teams that have been off a week and a half, and then they come out flat.
Well, yeah, it comes down to that, but at the same time, you have to understand, obviously the play, like you said, the playoff is different. The way they play is a little tougher, but the Orlando Magic, they read the scouting report. They know the injury history. They know Cade Cunningham comes off of a collapsed lung. He's not going to be pushing as much as like he usually does. So they're going to attack him. They're going to say, okay, you plan, so I'm coming at you. This is what I would do when I play. Like, even though we can be friends, I know you got a knee injury. I'm coming at you. I'm attacking you. Stuff like that. So they attack Cade. That's the reason why he didn't start off so well, because they were like attacking him and like putting that pressure on him, and then he kind of stepped it up at the end. But next game it's gonna be different.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think that the playoffs the NBA playoffs are always fun. The regular season's so long. And it's hard for me to really get into basketball during the season until like maybe the final couple of weeks of the season. I follow it, but then once the playoffs start to set in a little bit, then that's why I really love playoff basketball. What Wemby's doing, the unanimous defensive player of the year. It's the first time ever in history that this has ever happened. The unanimous defensive player of the year. He's earned it. Come on, this guy's shooting 5 threes. I mean, you can't stop him at the basket, and he kills you in the 3-point line, and he blocks everything that comes his way. He's just a human. We've never seen anything like it. He's what LeBron James was when LeBron James first came into the league. Nobody knew how to handle him, and I mean, the guy's 7'5" with the wingspan that he has is incredible.
Yeah, like you can be at the 3-point line shooting a three, a deep three. He can be at the where they stand for the foul shots and stuff like that on the block.
Line,
He can still reach to get there. That's what's
Yep.
so crazy about it. Like his wingspan is so crazy, and like when you have something like that, anything that's coming in the paint is getting batted. Like that's the kind of game, that's the kind of defense I like. Because
he got handle, and he can dribble.
He's dribbling like a guard. Yeah.
I mean, 7'5" dribbling like a guard, can get to any basket, to do whatever he wants, can shoot the deep three, can get in there. I mean, the only one that I think that he has a little bit of trouble with when they really want to pay is Jokic. Jokic, to me, is the best player in the world right now. I think he's still the best player in the world right now, period. Yeah. Even though they got beat last night, right? But I think that when Jokic plays him, Jokic had 40, right? Jokic is saying, hey,
his body's just bigger. His body's just bigger. He's too frail. Wemby's just too frail, and Jokic just knows he's so like skilled. He's so slow, but he's so skilled. When you play in that Euro basket, they teach you from a young age. They start playing pro at 14. So when you play pro all these years, you know the different ways to get your shot off, no matter who's on you. You can have a 9-footer on you. You create that space. He gonna feel that shoulder coming into your chest, and he's so frail. Like he's gonna get off his. Jokic is great. He's gonna be first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, well he's definitely there, and I think of course I think Shai Gilgeous SGA is gonna win the MVP again. But I think Jokic, is gonna be probably second. I think Wemby might be third.
That's voter fatigue right there, because I feel like with what Jokic is doing, even though I like SGA, and he's just it's the thing about the free throw vulturing or whatever they call it, that he kind of gets most of his points just from that alone. Man, does he play good defense? Does he play defense? Does he do anything else? Like I haven't, what do you think
SGA is good. I mean, SGA he can play defense too. He's smooth. He can play defense. They got him out there like a mini Kobe Bryant. Right, not the tenacity of a Kobe Bryant, but he's smooth like Kobe. He's kind of like that third Jordan guy. Because you got Jordan, you got Kobe model his game, and then you got SGA model his game after Kobe. They kind of look a little bit alike out there. He doesn't have that tenacity. He's kind of got like a quiet assassin type of thing going on. But SGA is smooth. I think he wins it again. But I think Jokic could actually win it too. But I think they're going to give it to SGA again just because of the team and everything. But Wemby has served notice to the NBA. He's gotten everybody. He's getting the best because of Wemby going out there and to that little championship that they had over the holidays. Championship series they got in Vegas, and he said, "No, man, we playing." When he started balling out, it made everybody start balling out, and he said that, I'm here to win it.
Wemby's a KD mixed with Mutombo.
This is crazy. But but the handle of Iverson. I don't know. I don't know if he's got. I don't know. I don't want to go that far. But again, I don't want to go that far. But he's got. I mean, a guy 7'5" with handle. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. So yeah, man. It's gonna be good. I can't wait to have another one of these probably next week after. To see, how everybody gets their draft picks and in the trades and stuff that go on. It's good getting on here after a couple of months, having a conversation and talking to the people and letting them know what our thoughts were. And so, we're going to end it now, but, I think this is a good start and we're going to keep it going. There's other topics that we're going to talk about too. So yeah, I think this is a good start.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to the next season already coming around the corner. Can't
wait, man. It's going to be fun. All right. So with that, guys, thanks for watching us. This has been Lonnie and Friends with Lonnie Washington and Tony Robertson. Enjoy the NFL draft this week, and hopefully your favorite team is winning in the NBA playoffs. Peace out.
Because mine is.
Hating love in this crazy life race. And Lonnie and Friends, you'll always have a place. So as we close this chapter today, remember we're here, come what may. Lonnie and Friends, with life to impart in the heart of
depend